Okay, off camera I torqued our bolt down with some Gorilla Force, and then you probably can't see it, but I moved this one hole location over about a 1/16 of an inch, so we'll have our clocking so that we can always put it back together in the same location. Alright, let's go set up for drilling. A little bit of a challenge on how to hold this, so I just got this aluminum parallel. I need that, otherwise this V-block will drop into the slot in the vise. And then a couple of large parallels here just for support. These are flat. I have stoned these. They had a bunch of little dings on there. Okay, and then we can take this guy and drop it in here. Alright, and then I'm going to indicate that line off camera. That'll make it easier to line up a couple of the holes. Setting my depth stop. Don't you hate it when your chip brush disappears? It was right here yesterday. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, one hole down. Alright, continuing on. Let's go to back gear. Okay, 3 more. Last one. Okay, I'm just using my original number 7 drill bit to check our alignment. So we got to open these up to 1/4 inch for our clearance hole. And I know I probably could have done this back in the original setup when we were drilling these, but I figured doing it this way, a little less chance of seeing Mr. Bozo show up. Oh, hold on, let me take this out of back gear. Alright, so we're going to do a counter bore on these. Let me set the depth here. We need to go about 1/4 inch deep. Okay, let's start with that. A little bit of oil. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, a little bit more. Oh. Well, when you move the table or the knee, it gets you all messed up. Okay. A little bit more. This time that should have it. Now we got a chip down in there. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to check that depth so I can repeat that on the other ones. I'm going to put a little more chamfer on those two. Sadly, I had to fire the project engineer. Yeah, he miscalculated the depth of these threads. So I ended up having to shorten these screws a little bit. We'll be okay. But yeah, we don't want to talk about that engineer anymore. I also took this plate over to the lapping plate just to check it for flatness. You can see it's high here, a little bit here. And mainly just wanted to knock off any burrs. This is the side that our spud is going to attach to. So it's making a little bit of contact on the lapping plate, but mostly out here. But I think it's going to be good enough for what we're doing. So let me go ahead and put this together. All bolted together. Has anybody figured it out yet? All right, we'll reveal it pretty soon. I've been bumping this in. Looks like just a hair over 1/1000th on a 10-inch faceplate. I think that's good enough. Well, if you guessed faceplate adapter spigot, you got it right. That should get us close. We don't need it to be perfect right now. We're just doing mock-up just for proof of concept here. That was just using the center. Not too bad. Plenty good for what we're doing right now, just for mock-up. All right, here's the issue that we're dealing with. And I've shown this before on an older video. So this is our 4-jaw chuck. And you probably can't see this, but I've blued up the spindle nose and checked our contact in the taper. Okay, so from, oh, let's see, right about here, we have nice contact all the way around to there, okay? And then this area has no contact whatsoever. So about 2/3 of this taper is making nice contact and nothing here. I think what happened is the iron, the cast iron, has probably shifted a little bit. You know, the internal stresses over time have relieved. Okay, they probably didn't do a good job of stress relieving this chuck when it was manufactured. I mean, it's a Chinese chuck, right? Okay. So, and then let me know if I'm going about this all wrong. I've been doing a lot of thinking on this, and I think this will work, but you know, I'm open to all suggestions. Okay, so my idea here is to regrind this taper, and we've got extra depth. We've got about a 1/16, yeah, about a 1/16 of an inch of extra depth on this taper relief, so we can open it up a little bit more. And I know that's going to push the spindle nose farther down into the chuck, but that's okay because we got another problem. This surface here is ground too far in, so we've got a gap of about 10 thousandths between this face and the spindle nose face. So opening this taper up a little bit, allowing the spindle nose to go in a little more, will actually help with that issue at the same time. Okay, so hopefully that's going to work out for us. Okay, so anyways, let me go set this up over in the lathe, do the mock-up, and have a discussion on the current plan. Here's our spindle nose, and this is the surface that makes contact with the back of the chuck. So what's supposed to happen is this taper is supposed to make up at the same time you're getting contact with this face here on the back of the chuck, or face plate or mounting plate, whatever it happens to be. Yeah, I know it's a 4-jaw chuck, and if it has a little bit of run out, you can compensate with when you're indicating your workpiece in, but there's no way that I want to take the chance of this outer round taper doing damage to the spindle nose on the lathe. I would rather take the chance of screwing this chuck up with the work that we're going to do. I mean, it's a Chinese 4-jaw chuck. You know, it's probably about 150 bucks, something like that. So I'd rather work on this than take the chance of screwing up the lathe. Yeah, and then when we do this for real, we'll take a skim cut on our spigot here, get it nice and true and concentric to the spindle. Yeah, so let's go ahead and fit it up right now just to see how it's going to look. Okay, that's as good as I'm going to get it. There's just a tiny bit, it looks like some run out in the chuck body. So we're within a thou. All right, well, when I do this for real, I'm going to have to put some pads on the jaws. So I can't get the face to come in. There's just not enough give in the jaws to bump it around. But I can get the radial run out. I can get that dialed in. All right, let's continue with our mock-up. Like I say, this is just a mock-up anyways. Okay, I've approximated the angle that our compound is going to need to be in. And you guys probably saw me make this T-nut on Instagram. Okay, that's going to go there. Then I made a spacer. That. Then this guy goes on there, like so. Washer and a nut. I picked up this little Dumore tool post grinder a couple months ago on eBay. And I've already set that spacer up so our shaft is on dead center with the lathe spindle. Okay. And I've still got to dress the wheel and all that. We're just mocking up here. Uh-oh. That's going to be a problem. Yep. Okay. Might have to come in from the back. All right, well, that's why we mock things up. Okay, let me switch it around. Okay, well, I tried it in the back, and that's not going to work either, so time to go to plan B. Let's take this wheel off. Luckily, this grinder came with this little adapter. Okay. That will take a mounted stone, such as this. Once you loosen it up, it's a lot of stick out though. I don't like that. I could probably shorten that shaft a little bit. Yeah, and that's probably what we'll do. And I've got to look through my collection. I've got a bunch of different stones like that. Okay, so that will reach in there, no problem. Okay. Yeah. Okay, like I say, I would have preferred to use the direct wheel because it's much more rigid. Okay, all right. I think we're going to use this stone. I like this one a lot better, much more compact. Okay guys, so I'm going to study this setup for a day or two. I want to make sure I got everything right. We've got to figure out our math, make sure we got that right. Got to put a guard on here. I have it, I just got to put it together. And we've got to make the pads for the chuck jaws so we can properly indicate the chuck body in. Yeah, and hopefully when we come back in the next video, we'll be ready to complete the setup and do some grinding. Okay guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Oh man, we forgot to give it the spin test. That's about all the faster we're gonna go when we're grinding.